Welcome to Film Freaks. This is Justin Llewellyn.
Eddie Williams.
And here we're going to be doing an audio discussion of Jeepers Creepers 3. Now, for those of you who have been following our channel, we talked about the previous Jeepers Creepers films from 1 and 2 a few months ago, and we did an audio retrospective on those. So this is actually our review of the newest film that came out in 2017, that is the sequel to the other films. And this film deals basically with, it actually picks up directly from the first film, in which the cops are basically looking for the creeper who was in the monster, the villain in the first film, who is basically killing people, from their fear and everything, trying to feed on their fear. And the
cops were there because of the Justin Long character. Yeah,
from the first film. And this film was directed by Victor Salva, who did the other two films. And for those of you who've been following our channel, you're welcome to check out our audio retrospective that we did on the other two films at your convenience. But to go into a little bit of backstory, I was actually kind of looking for this film for a long time because, believe it or not, this took almost like 15 years just to get made.
Yep. I had a little too long to wait for a sequel that was going around, and I think that it was cool to bring it back because people's been wanting it back. But Jeepers Creepers, when 1 and 2 came out, that was when Jeepers Creepers was at its hype, and it probably would have worked better if they would have found somehow to fund the film to where it would have came out around not too far after 2.
Well, and the problem being, too, is because after 2 came out, about years later, a lot of people were actually catching on with a lot of the background in regards to the director, because we're not going to go into detail with this, but the movie also had its problems behind the scenes because for a while there was a lot of controversy surrounding the director because of his past. So I think that also had to do with the fact that they kept delaying the film for a long time and had to go through so many different distributors and everything.
Yeah.
So with this film, Jeepers Creepers 3, it was originally supposed to be for an actual theatrical release, but they had to pull out of theaters when it came out, and basically
when it was revived about his backstory, they re-pulled it out of the theaters.
Yeah, though they did bring it back to theaters again for one night showing in October, around the time. Around October, in early October,
yeah.
Well, no, it was early October.
Another little side note: this movie was originally actually called Jeepers Creepers 3 Cathedral.
Yeah, I remember that. They were calling that for a while, and there were even other rumors that we were going to get a TV series, but that never came to fruition because they just decided to do a third film.
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, this film went quite through the changes over the years, and I got to be honest, there's probably a good reason why they kind of really didn't make one for a long time, but because I'm at a loss of words with this because I've seen the film in its entirety, but there's some things here and there that I kind of didn't really remember. So Eddie will have to fill me in on this. But from what I've watched, I've seen the entire film. Don't get me wrong, but there's parts that I was watching the film, the audio was kind of low, so I didn't hear some dialogue parts. But from my overall impression with the film, I can honestly say that this was not good. This was, to me, the absolute worst of the series.
Yeah, this was absolutely the worst of the series. I did not like this film pretty much at all. There's some little pros we'll get into in a minute, but yeah, this film was pretty trash. It was trash, and it was too cheap. But anyways, we start off where it leads us with the worst. The cops looking for the creeper who took Justin Long for the first one. This takes place between 1 and 2, and pretty much the whole story, it's just very standard. They're out looking for the creeper. I mean, there's nothing else we could really tell you.
Yeah, we won't even.
It's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into. We're not going to do a separate video or a separate discussion because we figure we'd bring the spoilers in later in this discussion to kind of get into it. So this will contain some spoilers. But basically, yeah, this film actually has an interesting premise because we also get the idea that the Creeper has been around for over thousands of years. So in a way, I do like the idea behind the Creeper, but I felt like it was not executed well, so to speak, if that makes sense. Because in this film, we also get introduced to this woman that's played by Meg Foster, who is basically she's the mother of this kid that was like at the very beginning she was the mother of this kid who the Creeper had killed at the beginning of the film, and
with that storyline, it was actually set 23 years before Justin Long.
Yeah,
from the first movie.
Yeah, and basically the rest of the film deals with the cops going after the Creeper and everything, while at the same time we get introduced yet more teenagers that are part of the story as well. And so to basically get along with my cons with this movie, I can honestly say that the film, or to basically to kind of get my pros out of the way with the movie, I'll say that the film does have its merits here and there. Like, I like the way that the Creeper looks in the nighttime scenes. I do like some of the deaths.
Yeah, the nighttime scenes he's captured good.
Yeah, I do like some of the deaths they show here and there with the film, from what they do show with practical effects and having there's also this in what they show with the gore and everything. I thought worked at times. I also did enjoy the stuff with the truck, because in this film, well, the truck that he uses, the tow truck that he uses, actually has like different weapons and stuff that we actually get to see a lot more, that I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's funny because that movie, the truck was in the first movie, but it wasn't in the second movie, I recall.
Yeah, I think because in this one, well, we'll get to it later, but I think there's a reason why I wasn't in the second one. After I remember watching this one.
But I like the booby traps because we never saw what was inside the truck.
Yeah,
it was cool that he had all these like gadgets and stuff. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah, because they do get some pretty brutal shit that happens throughout when he uses the truck. Yeah, and I'll say that there's also some other things I liked here and there, like the mythos that there are some cool ideas that they add. Like they do add a certain thing that involves with the creature's hand that they later use in the film, and then they also add that the fact that the creature's been around for thousands of years. So in a way, he's kind of like reminiscent of Pennywise the clown, how he feeds on people's fears and stuff.
Now the hand thing is a pro-con for me. It's cool premise, but the con part of that is it doesn't go in any explanation why. We've seen Creeper lose his limbs dozens of times, and all of a sudden you can learn his history by touching it. There were some things that really didn't make no fucking sense. Yeah,
see, that's the problem that's where now we pretty much get into our cons, where the film is trying to set up...
One more pro, so I can be on par with you on the cons. I will say, at the beginning, I did like the Clayton Duke version of the Creeper guy they have in this.
Yeah, there is a sheriff that's introduced in this film that basically has history with the Creeper that I actually found really interesting, and I think the guy who played him was pretty good.
Yeah.
And so the film, in a way, kind of becomes like Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, in that you have that kind of character, and you have the stuff that involves with the Creeper's hand.
Yeah.
So there's some things like that I liked. I'll admit that I think like the first at least 10-15 minutes I actually got into, when it was just focusing on like the cop stuff when we first set up the film.
That premise right there, I thought it was really cool, because it kind of reminded me of Hatchet 3, where they're starting to bring all the military and like the police in and stuff, and I thought they were going to use that to their advantage, but man, after the first 10 minutes of that movie just collapsed.
Yeah. And now we pretty much get to our cons. So basically, after the 10-15 minutes of the film starts losing me as soon as we see our lead characters. So this film deals with these other lead characters that are introduced, where you have this kid and this teenage boy and this girl that are you know, they're like together and everything, or he's trying to get with her and everything like that. And then at the same time, you also have like these weird like motocross guys that, you know what they kind of remind me of? They kind of remind me of those douchebags from Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, they did, and they
only
were
more annoying than those guys.
Yes, yes, not that, and I felt okay. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there were some characters in the second movie that I was kind of annoyed with, but overall, I just found a lot of them just more forgettable than anything. This one, these guys really fucking killed it for me because they were painfully bad and annoying.
They were, yeah.
God, they were so. Oh my god, it was so hard to sit through.
Yeah, they were, and not just that. I mean, it is common in a lot of slasher films that you're going to have unlikable characters that you just want to see picked off, and I was glad to see some of these characters get killed off throughout the film from what the Creeper does, but the main focus that we spend on are these two main characters, the main boy and the girl, and I found them two were boring as shit, and they didn't have, like, any personality whatsoever, and I just wanted...
Exactly, not only that, they were bad actors and actresses. They were fucking like, I just don't see them getting any other roles. I don't even see them getting a career out of acting, man. They were so atrocious. I just don't see them getting sci-fi movies either. They're that low budget. I'm just like, oh my god, the acting is bad.
Yeah, and not just that.
The lines delivery is bad.
Yeah, now I do have a pro-con with this. It was cool seeing Meg Foster as the mother and everything in this film. I do like her. I do like that they at least bring something interesting with her character. But the problem is that, well, this is kind of where we have some spoilers that we're getting into. They don't lead to that anywhere because she finds this hand of the Creeper that's from like years ago, from the 23 years ago, and you're expecting that they're going to do something with this, but they don't do anything with it.
They don't. It becomes a stupid story where she sees like how the Creeper lived, and it's like this really TV Goosebumpish type graphics, like this story. And then she's sitting there and telling all the officers, if you want to see how to defeat him, we all got to touch its hand. And you just got these people lining up like a fucking lemonade stand. I'm like, oh my god, this is bad. That fucking one cop that reminded me of the fat dude from Arachnophobia that follows the Creighton Duke around, that dude's acting was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines being delivered from everybody, it's just, I mean, Creighton Duke started out pretty strong, but even some of his lines started slipping because the acting around him is terrible.
Yeah, there's the main sheriff guy I'm hit and miss with, and I do like Meg Foster. I think her and him are like the only decent performances I got out of the film. But the rest of the cast were fucking awful. Like they had nothing to them. All
right, let me start off on this right here real quick on another con. Here's one of my biggest fucking bitches I have to get off my fucking chest. I did not like the daytime setting in this film.
I didn't either.
Whole fucking movie, 99% of it, other than maybe the beginning and the fucking end, this whole movie is so fucking day. And fucking the Creeper's makeup looks like fucking dog shit. It looks like he's wearing just a plaster mask, and it looks so fucking nasty. It doesn't even. It reminds me of Freddy in Part 6, where you don't see slime or blood or anything. It just looks like fucking plaster.
Yeah.
I didn't like how the Creeper acted in this film because he started out like his, kind of creeper self, but then he goes into this stupid shit where he's fucking whistling like he's a cowboy.
No, you know what? I kind of forgot about that part.
He's fucking too human in this one. I thought he was gonna bust out a fucking rhyme or have a conversation with one of the guys. I'm like, dude, he feels like he's getting human in this one. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that part.
No, you know what? It kind of remind me of the Creeper's way of whistling and walking around and hanging around and just walking here and there. It kind of remind me of somebody actually living inside the mask. And Jeepers Creepers feels like the shape, like somebody's inside him, like wearing a mask. And because the Creeper's so human, it feels like there's a human wearing a fucking mask.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from because there's a lot of scenes where it shows them in not broad daylight, but like when throughout the film it's very cloudy looking, where the sky is like very gray and it's very cloudy looking. I have a problem with this because it seems to me that the film is tonally off from the creeper blending in. Because the reason why I can give some merit with the second film is because when it shows the beginning scenes where he's like in broad daylight, I can buy that because it still fits with the overall tone. Here, the daytime scenes do not work because you're taking away a lot of the suspense and anything that's supposed to be adding atmosphere to your film.
And now with that, the movie is so bright that it wasn't able to cover up some of the CGI used, and oh my god, the CGI is on par with some sci-fi shit.
It
like
is.
Sharknado.
Dude.
Like, no, I'm telling you, there's bad CGI in films like Transformers, but then there's CGI on the same par as you see in movies like Sharknado, Octopus vs. Shark Robot. That's how bad the CGI is in this film.
Yeah, it's especially that part where we see, well, here's a spoiler. We see this truck, the truck that the creeper uses, spits out that like grappling hook, that hook or whatever, and it kills those guys, those motocross guys. That to me, I thought was fucking bad. Like that was just the first part, but then the other parts where we see like, well, but that to me was where I was catching the glimpse of it, and then throughout the rest of the film, we were seeing some other pretty bad shots too, like. If I don't remember the part where he's, yeah, I had to remember that because I had to remember that for a second.
Flies in the air, and this one, unlike the other ones, which actually had kind of authentic wings, they actually CGI'd it completely in this one, which looked fucking bad.
Well, you can kind of blame that for the second film though, because the second film also did that as well.
Well, at least with the second film, I will stand up that at the end when they're actually hurting him and he's jumping up and down for being injured, they actually got practical effect wings in that scene.
True, so I'll give you that.
This one didn't give practical effects wing. They literally couldn't bring the wings on set this movie, which was fucking lazy. Another thing I want to bitch is about, there's this part where these cops are chasing after the creeper and he shoots out these fucking ball bombs that literally look like the fucking graphics from Langoliers in '96, the Stephen King TV series. I don't know if any of you seen Langoliers, but if you did, you know what I'm talking about. Them fucking meatball looking things.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh my god, this is fucking horrendous. I mean, the fucking story itself is also fucking jumpy too. Like the editing is really just fucking, it's a mess.
Yeah, because it goes around like with showing the flashbacks with the mother and stuff, and that's another thing too. Here's what I'm like really like, well, what the hell was the whole point of her seeing her dead son come back here and there? Like throughout the entire film, she kept seeing a ghost of her son. I mean, I guess it's because it doesn't lead anywhere because she doesn't do anything throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah. That whole fucking seeing shit, I just wish they would stop using them. They did it in Creeper 2, where that girl fucking saw Justin Long. I wish they would stop fucking doing that, because really it doesn't fit with the Creeper movies. I just hate that shit.
Well, I bought it more in the second film because that was a dream sequence. This one was actually, she's seeing ghosts throughout the entire film. I was like, no, that does not fit with the rest of the movie.
Oh, that brings me up with something that you brought up just now, that kind of another con. So, that kind of beats the continuity in 2, where she's seeing the events from the first movie. But what about this movie that takes place right after the Justin Long effect?
Right, because if I remember, is this same character that's in this supposed to be in the second one, or was he in that, or was there another, or what? We'll get to it later, but I'm kind of curious on that, because we'll discuss the connection to that later on.
Yeah.
Because it makes you wonder, like, okay, was he supposed to be in the second film? Or what?
That's why I'm wondering what character he's fucking playing, because I didn't see him in the second movie.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, the film is just, it's very a blob of stuff happening that I really don't, it seems very inconsistent from the other films.
And again, the movie also suffers from the same shit where the fucking creeper keeps picking off people in the fucking air again. I get that, but I think he overdoes it. I hate that being his main kill. Where he takes them up in the air. I can't stand that, dude. I've never been a big fan of that. They overdid it in 2. They do it again here in 3 where they over fucking do it. It just gets on my fucking nerves.
Yeah, me too, man. I hear you on that. I mean, there are, like I said, the scenes where he's just fighting them on the ground and stuff I like, because they do go into some gore that I enjoy. But yeah, a lot of the off-screen shit where he's pulling them in the air and stuff, No, that shit was annoying.
Yeah, not only that, it just felt like a lot of the writing is so terrible here. You can fucking see that a lot of these characters that are just added on to the story to be bodies. It just looks so obvious that they're gonna be bodies.
Yeah.
Like the part where like the boy and the girl go to that one farm and he looks and there's all a bunch of people kind of sitting under these fucking like cars and shit. It just feels like those people there they add on just to be bodies.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Counts. And which is stupid because you're not going to show us who fucking how they die anyways because you're just going to fly them in the fucking air.
Yeah. Now, here's where we pretty much get into some spoiler territory for now. To more of it, I will say that for some of the deaths they do, like the parts where the guy is inside the truck and he's trying to get out, and then the thing that pops open and it's like goes inside of his head. I did like that death scene.
Yeah, but I did laugh at that scene too because there's a part where just before that happens, where him and his sister are tied up in that little thing inside the truck, and they're sitting there talking to each other, and they didn't realize they were brother or sister. They didn't know each other's voice or something. That kind of reminded me of the scene in the room where he comes into the flower shop. She goes, "Oh, hi, Tommy. I didn't know that was you."
Yeah, like
they were sitting there talking. I'm like, "Oh, hey, brother. I didn't know it was you."
Yeah, I caught on to that too.
Like you didn't know your brother's fucking voice the whole entire time,
right?
Wow.
Well, and here's probably where my most biggest complaint is. Okay, so we lead up from the guy, like we were saying, the sheriff earlier, from the beginning of the movie, who's kind of like the dude off of Jason Goes to Hell. We build up to him so much, trying to pretty much go to something epic that goes down with the Creeper, and we have a standoff that happens to where him and the other officer basically get pinned down after their truck gets over and everything. After the Creeper pretty much. His truck deflects these bullets off of this other guy. Basically, we're led to believe that he's supposed to have a big epic showdown that takes place. And while he does shoot the shit out of the Creeper with this big ass gun that he uses, it was very short lived because all the Creeper does is he falls on him and then we're led to believe that he died. I'm like, that was a weak death. What the hell? We built up to that and we didn't get nothing out of it.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of another death that made me fucking laugh, I don't know if any of you people have ever get on YouTube and watch some of the really fucked up, horribly CGI'd, cheap African, in Africa where they make those movies like from Nigeria and all that, the ones that make you laugh,
yeah.
The graphics. There is a graphic that actually looks like something from them, that looks like something they would do. And it was a part where the guy on the motocross flies in the air, and then you see the Creeper grab him off the bike.
Oh, I think I remember that part. Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah,
it looked exactly like something from Nigeria or Rwanda or Zimbabwe. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, the effects in this are so bad. I mean, you thought that the second one was like that too, but at least it was still more of a theatrical film. This one, you can tell it's very direct to video.
Film, and they had some things going for the second one, even though I didn't like the second one that much. But man, after watching this movie, I respect the second one more.
Yeah, and in the end, we get this weird. In the end, basically, the film it ends where you have the Creeper pretty much going to this sign and it just says that we know who you are, and then the Creeper just screams.
Yeah, and it's just like, what the fuck?
I know, it feels like we were missing a chunk of the film right there because it's like, what? What?
And then after that fucking ends, then it does like this good sad music that like the movie's already over. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, then we get
shows like the girl in the fucking releasing a fucking rabbit, and it's like all happy.
I know, it totally feels weird.
I'm like, oh my god. I said, please something pop up, and sure enough, something pops up that made me kind of go, okay, I can give that little part.
It's basically, now here's another spoiler, basically it ends where you have the main guy in the film, he ends up going on the same bus as the same teenagers were in the second film. So that same bus, either that or it was one that, either that or it was the same, like, it was like on the same school or something, because wasn't in the second film they had two buses that like drove past each other or whatever?
I believe it just focused on one bus. And it was, they focused on just that one bus, and they were wearing that same yellow, that jacket. I kind of saw that coming because the boy does mention he's going to state championship in basketball.
Okay, yeah, it's the same bus because he just happened to be one of the other guys in the film.
Yeah, another guy that really we don't ever meet in the second one, so I don't know.
Which that breaks continuity too, because he would have brought something up like that in the second film.
Yeah.
So that right there kind of fucks with the continuity.
Yeah, because there was nobody in there, I don't recall, saying it was the Creeper.
Right.
No one knew who the fuck it was. Yeah, yeah, that's another thing I didn't caught on. Yeah, that's going to be a problem right there, man.
Yeah. And then
God,
there is
that's a problem.
But I will say this last minute where it shows the main girl from the first one, she's in the film, and this is where we now get the 23 years later where she's older, and she's getting everyone to fight against the Creeper if it comes back, which we're led to believe.
I like that, but here's a question I got to fucking ask. What about the old dude that's guarding it in the second movie?
I think he'll come back too, because they are establishing it's 23 years later.
And then she's preparing to go, I guess, to find it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know where he's captured at, so because they've never met the guys from Part 2. So I'm hoping. I'm really worried, man, because I actually see these movies getting progressively worse as they go along.
Yeah, I know. Well,
you had the first one, which pretty much the average American or world, average horror fan likes. It was a pretty decent film. And the second one was a really major step down, but it still had its moments, but it's still not that good. And I think they put too much money on one side and forgot to put money on the cast and stuff, so it kind of like made them run out of money. But this one was a major step fucking down.
This
one was like stepping off a fucking deck and landing in shit.
Yeah. So with that, even though I wasn't like this, even though I didn't like, I wasn't angry like compared to like how you were, but I still was. I still felt like this film was bad. It'll definitely be in my honorable mention list, but I still say it is the worst film of the series. And with that, I'm gonna give the film a 3.5 out of 10.
All right, I'm gonna be lower than he is. I'm going 2 out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, for those of you who have also seen Jeepers Creepers 3, let us know in the comments of what you thought about it, and also check us out. Let us know your thoughts on the other films as well. And you can feel free to check out our retro we did of the other films, and you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and check out some of our other reviews, and check out our website at filmphreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.